Since 1961, Quartz Plumbing has offered friendly, reliable service to residences all over Bergen County, New Jersey. We are a fourth-generation family-owned business, unmatched in customer satisfaction and professionalism while working in your home. We are the hydronic heating and water filtration specialists, with a workmanship guarantee to put you at ease so you can rest comfortably. We offer financing for those big projects that catch you off guard, and we have a network of excellent contractors in all fields for any project you wish to tackle. Call our responsive office team, and we'll dispatch a handsome and educated technician to lay the smackdown on all your plumbing issues. You can also find us at quartzplumbing.com, search us on Google, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Like, subscribe, and share, please.
Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Plum Bums Podcast, the blue-collar tradesman show where we talk about small business and entrepreneurship in these crazy times of 2024. How you doing, Max?
I'm drinking again, so...
We're back on the. We're back off the wagon.
What is it? It's off the wagon.
Off the wagon.
All right.
If you're not drinking, you're on the wagon.
I'm off the wagon. You know what's weird is that when I start working out again, I get off the wagon.
Those testosterones.
Is it
the San Francisco treat? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird because I started working out again, and I told you a contractor called me fat today. Contractor that we've been working with for 7 years. I was trying to fit in between a mini fridge and the spot where I had to tie it into. And he's like, we've been working together for a while, and used to be able to fit in that spot pretty nicely, no?
It's standard when you're approaching your 30s to get little chubbers.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I was laughing. I thought it was hysterical, but...
Well, he's a funny guy to begin with.
Yeah.
Eastern Europeans are funny without even trying.
Yeah.
Smudgil is his name.
Smiley.
Smudgil. And everyone calls him Smiley.
Should get Smiley on here.
No one will be able to understand the guy.
And just give him a drink.
That may be a disaster. But, folks, thank you for joining us. We are just trudging along episode after episode. We want to, of course, shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, Quartz Plumbing and Heating, the greatest and most efficient plumbers in Bergen County, North Jersey. We can say that because we are Quartz Plumbing, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't agree with that statement.
Even if I didn't pay you? All right.
Maybe not.
Anyway, in addition to Quartz Plumbing, we are also picked up a new sponsor, Promo Bros Merchandise Company, promobros.net. Promo Bros is a small company out in the Midwest. What's South Dakota?
I would say that's Midwest.
That's the Midwest. They're these two dudes who they open up this merchandising company. They focus on quality. They focus on long lasting. They'll make you anything for any promotional event you have going on. They do koozies, mouse pads, hats, shirts, T-shirts. They'll do your business cards.
People still using mouse pads?
Yeah.
I haven't seen mouse pads in a while.
Are you one of those weirdos who uses the touch thing on the laptop?
No. I just used the desktop.
You just use it so you scratch up your mother's desk over there?
Yeah. We didn't have to say that.
Are you pissed that I just shouted that you live with your mom?
Yeah. You didn't have to say that. Yeah, right.
Not because you have
Finish
to.
Your intro.
Because you want to.
Finish your intro.
Promo Bros, promobros.net. Great company, great guys. They're a lot of fun. They're really great to work with. Hit them up. Tell them Quartz Plumbing sent you. They'll give a little bit of a discount. So we want to thank you for sponsoring us. They're a lot of fun to work with.
You wonder why I drink now.
I don't, actually. If I were you, I would drink too.
Because you're constantly talking crap all day long, talking shit all day long. This is how I deal with it.
I want to challenge the people to work with a ginger day in and day out and not bust his chops.
Yeah?
But
You want me to throw them another challenge?
yeah. Let's hear it.
No.
Edit. So let's see what's in the news today. You know what I heard? Remember that law that they were going to do with the IRS was going to start targeting, if you Cash App people or you Zelle people,
You get taxed on it?
over $600.
Yeah.
So there was outrage. So they stopped it. And I was listening to a couple of finance guys talk about why they did that. So they got pushback, they stopped it, and now they're gearing up and writing more laws for it to enact it in 2024. So they said, okay, we're not going to do that. And all they did was they went back with their lawyers to rewrite the law. So we're getting to a point where you can't even help like your mom out with groceries without being under scrutiny from the IRS at this point.
Yeah.
And we don't take Cash App payments or anything like that. We take credit card payments. We do take Apple Pay. But we're a legit business. You know, we declare all that stuff. But if you're just this tiny small business trying to start, or not even if you're a small business, if you're just like, oh, I live with my buddy, I got to pay him rent this month. Let me just pay him the $700 over Cash App.
The fact that gets taxed is ridiculous. But
And it's those types of things are just relentless nowadays. We had our accountant on here a couple weeks ago, and he was just spouting off a whole bunch of stuff that the IRS is just relentless about. So not only are they coming after small business, they're coming after you. They want to know exactly everything you spend your money on. Everything. From top to bottom. They want to know if you helped your mom with groceries or if you bailed her out for the couple bucks cash to go buy medicine or something. And it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, we talked about that law that they were going to start implementing on small businesses under $5 million a year, just putting more burden to like claim to combat international terrorism.
Yeah. Well,
who elects these people? I want to know. It's just crazy. I just feel
50% of the country.
Yeah, you're right. So we don't want to isolate those people. We have a lot of good content for you. Don't go anywhere.
I'll isolate them. Give me another drink. I'll isolate the shit out of them.
You gave me what'd you give me a stat today on groceries?
I don't know if it was necessarily groceries or if it was just like an average of what like a family, a household would spend per month. Groceries is the biggest expense usually.
Yeah, sure is.
But I think it was for the same amount that you were paying for last year. Let's say if you went to the grocery store, you were paying on average. People were paying on average about $450 more
in 1 year.
Yeah, this year on their grocery bill. And again, I don't remember if it was grocery bill because that seems excessive to me. But I think per month, on average, you were spending about $450 more.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
We might want to research that stat.
Yeah, so don't use it.
You know what? Go to Google, research it, and then comment under this video the correct.
You guys are wrong. You guys don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
I want to talk about this actually. So I have accounts for Quartz Plumbing all over the place. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We even have a TikTok, even though I hear that that's not happening much longer. We have business accounts everywhere. I don't have, only social media I have is business. And I'll comment on videos, but I keep it light. I try to make jokes so people will be like, oh, Quartz Plumbing is actually pretty funny. Let me check them out. Oh, they do it, just to like snowball into this thing.
You show them to me.
So I was watching this video, this guy, I follow this dude who gives advice to specifically plumbers on how to run your business because it's clear that most plumbers don't know how to run their business. They don't know how to do their numbers. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to do invoicing, any of that. So he gives all this advice. And he was talking about, he goes, listen, when you go to customers, the days of time and material are over. They're over. First of all, material is out of control. It's rising up every time. So what you need to do, let's take a toilet replacement, okay? He's like, you're going to provide the customer with a toilet, and you're going to replace it. You're going to discard their old one. He's like, if you're not charging anywhere between $800 and $900 for that, you are losing money.
Well, the breakdown was a little bit different than what you're saying. It was, he goes, I can repair the toilet, and repair includes like a flapper, a fill valve, a flush valve, or just replacing the toilet. So he said, I give the customer options.
Well, yes, he did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was talking specifically about the top option, the all-in, replacing, supplying a toilet. So I do on Instagram, I go to the comments, and it's just comment after comment on, thief, I would never hire this guy. How dare he charge that much? I'm not paying more than $100 for a toilet. And I got pissed, dude. I went on for an hour, I went on this texting tangent with these people.
I saw it.
And I go, and a whole bunch of people were like, I can't believe a toilet is like $100 at Home Depot. Like, why is he charging, why would he do that? And I actually, maybe I got a little bit more offended than I should have because people just don't realize But I'm trying to break it down for these people like, okay, $100 toilet, you go get it. Because if you want me to go pick up a toilet, buy it for you, drive down to the supply house that I have to pay for membership at, take it to your house in my truck, which is fully insured with gas in it. You called my business number and a woman answers who I have to pay. And then I have to drive to your house in a fully stocked truck that has insurance on it, registration, it has a payment on it. I have to factor in truck repair.
It's a factor in that we put our face where you take a poop.
Yep, I said that too. I said that like 30 times on this thread. I was like, and not only that, you want me to lean down where you poop and pee for years for pennies.
Yeah.
And my favorite line, I think I'm gonna read this. I want to like put this on a quote. I was like, "You're not the queen. I'm not your peasant, and you don't shit roses."
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Like, and maybe I shouldn't have gotten so upset over it.
I think people are realizing more, though. I think people are
not according to this post.
Not according to the post, but I think you have trolls on Twitter, on Instagram.
No,
on
it was
Facebook.
a lot of it was a lot of older people.
Yeah, well, they're
I guess
still,
they don't realize
their
that.
mentality is still living in a certain time, a certain age, and I always say to customers, look, you go to the grocery store, right? You used to pay $1.50 for a dozen eggs. You're paying like $7-8 now. You know, take that percentage and move it to everything else, and then it becomes clear to them. When you used to pay $1.50 for a dozen eggs, and now you're paying $7 or $8, it starts to make sense to them a little bit.
Yeah. And I guess, a lot of people just haven't heard it broken down like that.
Yeah.
Like the cost of running a business is
Simplify
insane.
it. Always take eggs and milk. Eggs, milk, and bread. That's like what everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know? So
that was my little rant. If you're interested in going to see my temper tantrum on Instagram, go to Quartz Plumbing and just look at my comment history.
yeah.
I kept it clean.
You did.
I did tell one lady, I don't know how she made it to 70 and not know this. She didn't respond.
Yeah.
She's dead now. Anyway, guys, I'm super excited about this episode, and I'm trying to get this guy on here for the longest time. We have a close friend of the Plum Bum staff on here who I'm trying to make this like a really special intro. Let me just lay it out. We have Kerr.
Just turn the camera towards him. That's the special intro. You're gonna see.
We have my buddy Kerr, who is a amateur professional, independent professional wrestler who I've been to his matches. They are awesome. So anyone who loves wrestling, you've seen the huge WWE, the huge production that they do. You guys, the way you get in there, you're not doing the crowds that they're doing, obviously. But I went there with my friend Ashley. We went to go check out. She's like, you got to come see my boyfriend wrestle. I'm like, all right, I'm down. I walk in. There's announcers like around the ring. There's cameras. There's lights. And I'm like, okay, this is a little jarring. And then there's a bar in the back. I'm like, all right, let me get a couple buds. Dude, by the third beer, I'm literally like on the chair. Like, yeah. Like just like an animal. It's ridiculous how much that thing can amp people up.
Yep.
Folks, welcome Kerr to the show. A good buddy of ours. He's awesome. He wrestles with Pro Wrestling Magic, Northeast Wrestler.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No heat.
He's got a great, super unique industry, and we brought him on here to talk about it. I really want to thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. It's a good. I want to start off. I couldn't help but hear your intro. First off, taxation is theft. Let's all agree. Let's all agree.
Let's go.
We got way too much.
I got a little sign back there that says that.
Oh, all right.
It might have fallen, but I agree with that.
Right,
We're not talking about wrestling on this podcast. It's over.
Now we can move forward.
How quickly we segued. But yeah, no, thanks for having me on here. Sorry, it took a little while. The schedules weren't lining up. But
to the people, they have no idea.
No. You didn't have to wait at all. You're lucky. All right? So,
that's it. No, so Kerr, you've been wrestling all over Northeast, New York. What's the furthest you've gone with
Alaska?
Alaska?
I wrestled in Anchorage, twice last year, 3 times for 907 professional wrestling. JT West runs an awesome school up there. They're the only Alaskan wrestling school up there right now. And then for their partner, WrestlePro, which is a New Jersey company actually, but WrestlePro started an Alaskan branch arm called WrestlePro Alaska, and they go up there a couple times a month. So 907 is every month. And then WrestlePro Alaska comes up there a couple times a year, and I've wrestled for both promotions up there. Awesome time. You know, the Alaskan crowd was great, you know, and I was stationed up there actually. So I still have a lot of friends up there.
Yeah, you have a military background.
Yes,
you definitely want to get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. But as far as furthest, yeah, Alaska was pretty far travel for a couple of matches.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing this for?
About 7 years, 8 years. Let's see, 8 years. 2016, I got into it.
I got to get Max to a match.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get him. I've been trying to get him to a match. I said, you guys got to come down, drink a bunch of beers, and just cheer for the meat locker.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It was awesome.
Or you get to pound your chest and just yell meat.
It's so much fun, dude. I'm telling you. Like 3-4 beers in, he comes at like you because you're toward the end usually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on.
You're the main event.
Yeah, come on. You know they don't put Andre on first. You know,
I am the main event.
If you can't tell, this dude's a beast. Yeah. He's just a monster.
We literally thought that we were gonna have to switch the benches for him.
I noticed you guys reinforced it underneath, so I appreciate that.
I had to. I don't. I don't want any lawsuits or whatever. Even though you get tossed through tables all the time. I mean, listen, dude, you're gonna make children that conquer the world. We all know it.
No.
So you've been doing this for 7 years?
Yeah, 7, 8 years. Yep.
How did you get into it?
Oh man, so ever since I was a little kid, I've always been a proponent of if you have free time, you're gonna get in trouble. So keep yourself busy. I have pretty much one of the busiest schedules that of all.
Right.
You know, I'm always doing something. Mm-hmm. So
like Mariah Carey.
Yep. Yeah. So I had gotten out of the Army, and I was going to college. And to me, college was, easy. It was all I have to do is show up after getting out of the Army. And
what were you going for?
I have a master's in forensic psychology.
So
yeah, so I did a combined degree program. I got my bachelor's and my master's.
Brains and beauty.
Yeah, and strength to go, and strength to boot. It was a 5-year program. I did it in 3 years. Not bragging, but a little humble brag. But still, it was easy. All I'm doing is going to class for a couple hours. This is my job. Thanks to the GI Bill, they pay us to go.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for something else to do, and it was between wrestling and MMA. So I had done a little bit of MMA when I was in the Army, and I enjoyed it. But ultimately, the dirty little secret that nobody likes to talk about is getting punched in the face is not fun. Yeah. So, and also, I walk around comfortably at about 375 pounds. There is no 375 weight class in mixed martial arts.
Is that comfortable though?
I mean, it depends. If you ask my head, the mirror, yes. If you ask my knees and ankles, absolutely not. So in order to cut down to 265 for a fight would be atrocious.
Murder.
You know what I mean? Like I'd be miserable.
Yeah.
So I had gone to a wrestling show for JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling, which they've been making a comeback. And I'd never been to an independent show. Like you, I had no idea what to expect. And I got to the VFW in Hasbrook Heights. And the main event was Crowbar versus Joey Janela. And I'm watching. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So they have the intermission, and I'm walking to go get another beer. And a bunch of little kids come up to me and, just look at me. And they're like, oh, can I have your autograph? I'm like, oh, guys, sorry, I'm not a wrestler. And they're like, oh, and they walk away. So the next group, my brother goes, CJ, he goes, just sign their stuff. They don't know the difference, but you'll make their day. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, so the next group of kids that came up, hey, can I have your autograph? I was like, yeah, guys, here. Can I take a picture? Yeah, sure. And their faces lit up. And, I was like, what, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life.
It was
what
the
I mean?
kids.
Yeah,
it was for the kids.
And it was just like that pure joy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm like, these kind of reactions are fun, these interactions. And so and wrestling was something I've been a fan since I was a kid, like most of us.
Right.
So nothing happened with that. That was like almost an isolated incident. Then a couple of months later, I get a little tendonitis in my elbow. My orthopedist goes, hey, are you a wrestler? I said, no, I'm not. He goes, "Oh, well, your physical therapist that I'm sending you to is, so you guys can talk." Sends me the physical therapist. Who's my physical therapist? Crowbar. So
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Holy smokes.
So me and him hit it off. He's one of my best friends to this day. And all we did was talk wrestling, and he guided me to the original school that I went to in Ace, Mike Morgan. And he was like, "Hey, Mike knows how to train big guys. He's trained all these people, he'll take good care of you. He's not a carny." And yeah, so that's how it started. Yeah, it started there. I went there, I signed up. We had the Morgan Junior Arena in Wallington at the time, and every day I was there every day,
just training.
Just training. Countless bumps, countless, psychology, promos, everything. Even the little things that some people don't get is how to work a camera. A lot of people have no idea.
You trained on that too?
Yeah. A lot of people have no idea. Hey, there's a hard camera there. This is who I should be talking to. If I'm not talking to you, I should be looking here. If I'm not looking there, I should be interacting with somebody. A lot of people have no idea about that, and they'll do things with their back to the hard cam,
dude.
and they'll do all this incredible athletic stuff, and the camera has zero good shots of it. So that was one of the things that we harped on. Every training was filmed, or at least had like fake cameras. Like, hey, this is your hard cam. Work this.
This is a whole thing, dude.
Oh, it's a lot goes into it. It's more than just lacing up your boots.
Of course, yeah.
Just kind of going in there. And,
and
Everyone
entertainment.
forgets that it's entertainment.
Yeah. It's physical. My body has taken a pleasant beating throughout the years, but honestly,
we're gonna play some clips over the show, so they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
But you know what? I wouldn't take it back. I love it.
Yeah.
One of the dirty little secrets that I have from wrestling is before every match, bar none, I get probably the worst performance anxiety.
Do you really?
Every time, especially when I'm on deck, when the match before me is up, and I'm standing backstage, and I'm next to go out, and my heart's pounding. I get cotton mouth. I'm like, man, and I can't. And this is a shoot. I contemplate retiring every single match because I'm like, why do I do this to myself? I'm like, this is terrible. And then I'm like, I feel terrible. Like, this is gonna suck. And then my music hits, and then it amps up a little more.
Right.
And then I come through the curtain, and good guy, bad guy, it all goes away once I hear the fans' reaction, good, bad, and different. And then it all goes away, and then I'm like, I love this.
That's amazing.
So it's like hate on one hand up until, and it's like, oh, okay, this is why I do it, because it's a great time, And then you have good matches, or great matches that, really like set the tone. Like, all right, I'm doing this right, know. Actually, my last match of Pro Wrestling Magic, I had a triple threat with two talented guys, Smiley and Azrael. Two incredible talents, both not the nicest guys in the world.
In real life, or in persona?
It's real, damn it. It's real. It's real.
Wrestling's not fake!
But no, two incredible talents. Both Smiley, one of the most creative people I've ever worked with. Azrael has been on TV in Ring of Honor, should be on TV again. Had just a great match where I'm sitting in the locker room after, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, man, I love this.
It seems like a blast.
Oh, it's great. When you work with incredible people. It's just
you guys get to know each other well.
Yeah.
Are you on the road with each other?
Pro Wrestling Magic's a little local.
Okay.
So we don't really, I drive myself. It's 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Which is, it's nice, it's comfortable. For example, Northeast Wrestling, I'm tag team champions with Danny Moff, who another incredible talent. Guy's been doing it well over 25 years. He's another guy, should be on TV somewhere. You know what I mean? And he's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so we do the drives, and man, going to a show, coming from the show, the beers after the show, just picking his brain. We could have a 20-minute match together and dissect it for 6 hours about things we could have done better, things that went better than expected. Wow. Great guy, great talent, legitimate dude. So those drives are good. Well, for when he's awake anyway. He falls asleep typically within 10 minutes of it. I hope you see this, Moff. I'm tired of you falling asleep on me. But great dude. And at Northeast Wrestling, we actually have a big show coming up in Danbury. And
Connecticut.
yes.
Okay.
We got Matt Riddle, Mustafa Ali, your reigning tag team champions, Kerr, Moff. Yeah. So good.
I was, all for the past couple weeks, I'm like, we're getting Kerr on. He's going to come on. We've been watching your videos on Instagram and stuff like that. And like, I want to kind of reiterate what this show's for. We started it, and we say this a lot. We started to encourage guys to get into the trades. Then it became encouraging guys to, after high school, start working and then like figure out how to start a small business or stuff like that. Or, instead of going to work for somebody and make somebody else rich. And the reason why I wanted to get you on here is because, first of all, when I went to go see the match, I was impressed with a bunch of stuff. But the fact that your image and your character is so simple, but it's so freaking marketable. Yeah. It's such a good brand. Everything, like in all your videos, the boots, the pants, the cutoff flannel, the way like you conduct yourself, the way you hype up the crowd, your whole attitude, it is so marketable. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, I think it's easy because it's real.
Yeah, you're pulling into your military background.
Exactly. I have something that a lot of the other guys in the independents, a lot of guys that are signed to TV deals don't have. I'm a legitimate combat veteran.
Yeah,
and in addition to that, I'm not a 5'9", 180-pound combat veteran.
Right.
I'm 6'4", 425 pounds.
Holy
all right, that's not my root. But I'm. The moniker "world's largest combat veteran" isn't really a shtick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
People. I come through the curtain. It's like,
he's going to kill somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the greatest quotes I've ever heard, and it's true. Everybody goes to the Circus Elephants, right? Why are there no more circuses? Well, there's no more elephants.
There's no more elephants.
You're not allowed. Which, hey, great. I love elephants. They shouldn't be abused. Believe me, Peter, don't come knocking on my door. But
they don't watch.
The trapeze artists, that's great. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but I watch wrestling. I want to see those larger than life characters come out. I want it to go, wow.
Yeah. Undertaker.
So I bring that, and I bring the realism, and it's me just ramped up a few levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it makes it really easy to make that connection with people, and people are smart. Mm-hmm. They know when you're selling them garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that adds that extra layer to it to help me be marketable,
I mean, you have I was gonna say, watching some of the stunts, your tag team partner is almost the same size as you.
He's a little bit smaller.
Is he a little bit smaller?
Yeah. Wrecking Ball Legursky is who we're talking about.
Wrecking Ball Legursky.
He's very much smaller than me. He's about an inch smaller. Definitely not as good looking. We could agree.
I can agree with that.
Or as athletic.
Athletic. He doesn't smell as nice.
No, and he's a little fatter. He's a little fatter. Less muscle mass.
Right.
He's an alright dude. He's an alright.
Were you an athlete?
Me?
Were you, no.
Look at me.
I mean, like an athlete before all this, because this is
football.
Football.
Because this stuff takes a toll on your body. No,
100%. 100%. For me, I'm blessed with size. So your size and your style dictate a lot of the bumps.
Yeah.
And, so my body doesn't take too much of a beating, depending on actually going back to that Smiley and Azrael match. My body took more of a toll in that match than I think it had the last 10 matches before that, and I was just feeling it. Everything we did, the story we were telling made sense, and everything, evolved the right way. But for the most part, if I'm wrestling somebody smaller than me, you shouldn't be knocking me around. I shouldn't be on my back. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm wrestling a guy slightly smaller than me, like Wrecking Ball Legursky, all right, I got to put in a little bit more work. You know, and for it to make sense, and it's a give and take. But if you're 5'1", 100 pounds, I'm sorry, you're gonna have a rough day if you offer me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gentle, but you also got to feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is that realistic. It is. It's an art, it's a performance art, but it's also very physical.
Bro, just to jump in
it's
here,
a contact sport.
These guys, no problem. I don't want to cut you off. I wanted you to pick up exactly, but these guys, they're picking each other up over their heads. Literally, it's insane.
Yeah,
I know.
Insane. I'm like,
I'm seeing the videos, and I also I watch like the interviews with older time wrestlers and the abuse that they take on their bodies, because I used to watch it when I was younger, and you used to, when you grew up, you kind of like, oh, this is, it's fake and it's more so entertainment, but they tell you, yeah, it's entertainment, but like what you said, it's physical entertainment where
Hugely.
these guys some of these guys in their older age, they can't walk.
Yeah.
They have injuries that you can't even imagine. It's like if you look at like Hulk Hogan or something like that, the dude is like, everywhere he goes, he's hobbling around.
Yeah.
It's like, if you think that that's fake, then he's what is he putting on a performance for the rest of his life? He's not. It's a very physical thing. That's why I asked if you were an athlete, because that's got to translate somehow for you taking because as an athlete, you kind of take hits, you take abuse, and you keep pushing forward. You keep moving forward. You can't say you have a day at the office and you can't say, you know what, this stuff hurts today.
Yeah.
I'm hurting today. I can't not do this today because it hurts. You have to do it even through injuries.
Yep, 100%. I think in my 8 years in the business, I think I've only ever pulled off 2 shows due to an injury. Actually, I had COVID. I wrestled a match with COVID, not knowing I had COVID, but this is the early stages of, hey, let us know if you've been to China.
Yeah.
But wrestled with like 103 point something fever. Tore the house down for the record. But and then I didn't get out of bed for 2 weeks after that. you know?
Yeah.
That Sunday I texted my boss and I said, hey, I'm not coming into work all week. He said, wait, what do you mean you take it off all week? I said, I'm sick. I'm going to be sick all week. But yeah, no, it definitely does take a toll. If you don't take care of your body, it does catch up to you. I'm blessed with the fact that I've been pretty injury free for so long. I've only had one serious injury. I tore my elbow up in a match. That was the only surgery I ever had to have. Knock on wood. And
that might not be real wood.
Yeah, it'll suffice for that. We know. I don't want to get up.
Just don't knock the wood paneling on the side because it's paper.
So had that, but I'm also blessed with the fact that anytime something hurts, one of my tag team partners is a physical therapist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you
so
go.
I'll be like, hey, my knee's really swollen today. I don't know why. Like, I don't have knee problems. And I'm like, oh, come in. Oh, okay, you pulled something here. And a couple sessions, boom, out. And Crowbar specifically, Crowbar takes care of a lot of wrestlers, both privately, the ones on TV and off TV. Because one of the dirty little secrets is nobody wants to lose their spot. Nobody wants to come up to their boss, hey, I'm hurt. I can't do this right now. Because guess what? That train's going to keep on going.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether you're on it or not. You know what I mean? And it really doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? If, look at the big companies, if a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin could walk off an episode of Monday Night Raw and Raw just keeps on going without missing a beat, who is Kerr?
Right.
You know what I mean? If I'm like, hey, I'm going to be out a couple of months because, okay, well, somebody else has to fill your spot.
Someone's going to fill it in.
You know what I mean? And yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
It is. Every time, especially, every time you go out there, I try to remember it's always going to be somebody's first time seeing me, and it's going to be somebody else's last time seeing me. So there's no such thing as mailing it in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. When we go in, you're going to get the best possible show, the best possible match that I can provide to you on any given show.
Bro, I can attest to that.
Yeah,
I can 100% attest to that. I mean, you guys gave it like. Listen, what the one when I was at, maybe 150 people there, 100, 200 people there, maybe about,
yep.
And like, you guys just go in there full tilt. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a handful of people or like it's like you guys' energies. It's so respectable to me,
100%.
Because there's times. Listen, we're plumbers. There's times when I phone it in. I phone it in all the time. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. If it's raining too hard, I'll phone it in, to be honest. But like
I don't want to be here right now.
The whole aspect, like I was watching this match and like I'm like dissecting it because I have like a business mind and I'm very into branding. We both we it's important to us to get the brand out there and stuff. And I'm literally dissecting the whole setup with the announcers and the speakers and the cameras and the entrances and like the costumes and the interactions and stuff. And then the guy who was he when I was there, he was wearing, he's like the bad villain owner of it. Like he's playing like he was
the manager.
Manager. He had a gold jacket and he's getting on there like trash talking like half the wrestlers and say, do you remember? We had his little gold shoes on.
I do have a question for you though. Do you come up with your character, or does somebody come up with it for you? Because I have heard in like WWE, like where the owner of the company obviously creates your persona, or did you come up with yours and say this is what I am and this is who I'm gonna be?
So that's a great question. So it's kind of a little mix. You know, on the indies, you get more of a creative freedom to be like, hey, this is who I am. Now, if I work for, say, your company, you'd be like, hey, you know what? That's exactly what I need. And then I may come to your company and be like, I don't really want that. Nobody cares, but I want you to do this.
Gotcha.
Well, now it comes up to, well, how bad do I want to work for your company to change my gimmick? Or am I even open to a change, you know? For me, when I started out as Adam Payne. So the Adam Payne name came from, well, Adam, obviously, is my real first name. And Payne, we were sitting around just talking. And so somebody had given me a pencil to write something, sign something or write something. And it was just after a training session.
The pencil snapped in your hand? Like
Well, no. So fun fact, I hate pencils. I have not written with a pencil since the 3rd grade. And then when my 4th grade teacher said, well, what if you make a mistake? I said, I just won't make a mistake. And let me write in pen. You know what I mean? Mrs. Lasker, I'll never forget. So I hate pencils. So somebody gave me a pencil and I just started talking shit, about a pencil. And they looked for like 5 minutes. And they're like, you just cut a promo on a pencil. You know that, right? And I'm like, oh. Well,
oh my God, that's so funny.
I'm like, all right. So then we had this little moniker. I was going to be Professor Payne, and I was going to be a teacher, and we were going to film vignettes with students, and I was going to make little kids cry, and then, cut live promos and make the parents and teachers feel stupid. And then we just kind of, I think we kind of rushed my debut a little bit, so we never got a chance to like put all that to fruition. And so that we're just like, all right, we'll just keep Adam Payne for now. Then segue. So Adam Payne was a little bit of me, but still kind of like, who am I? Kind of deal,
right?
Right. And then I started a couple years ago. I started training with Damian Adams, great trainer up in Wharton, and he had suggested that I change my name to my real name as long as I'm comfortable with it, because if I make myself a big enough brand and I get signed to one of these big companies, you can't own a person's name. So now, once I'm there, I could always make money on my name still, versus if I go there and they decide, Jeffrey Justin. And then once I leave there, I can't wrestle indies and say I'm Jeffrey Justin.
Yeah.
I'll be formally known at, Kerr,
You can't.
I'm Kerr.
You're Kerr.
Me,
That's you.
And my friends have been calling me Kerr pretty much my whole life. So I was like, absolutely. So I filmed this whole montage with GoPro Wrestling. They're great camera production company. The best, honestly. Shout out to you guys. You guys
They
are great.
really are. I'm not going to argue with that.
They do all the
Amazing.
Pro Wrestling Magic stuff. They do everything live. They're great. So we had gone up to Letchworth Village up in New York and filmed this awesome vignette. And we killed off Adam Payne, and we brought me.
Oh, you did a whole shtick.
We did a whole shtick, yeah. It was good. It was like two. Oh, and the only thing I regret about that video is when I transitioned from Adam Payne to Kerr, I wasn't wearing a shirt, and it was -5 degrees.
Oh, jeez.
So
Could
it was
have
a
cut
little
glass
It
with
was.
those things.
I was regret. I'm like, why did I think this was a good idea? Like, I look like a big tough guy. No, I do, but I'm also cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we made that transition occur, and then honestly, it's almost like I felt more comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's me.
You're fine in your slot.
100%. And Crowbar at the end of the day. Well, anytime I start thinking, I'm like, well, maybe I'll go this direction. Be an Army man. Be something that nobody could ever take away from you. Be something that you are. Yeah. So, having guys like that have been around for 25, 30 years, like a Crowbar, like a Danny Moff, definitely help keep me locked in, keep me focused, give me, when I get a little wacky, hey, I think I'm going to jump off the top rope. No, you're not. You're 400 pounds.
The top rope cannot handle you right now.
Your feet are staying on the floor. Nobody wants to see that, but no but.
I do. Right. I want to see that. I want to see that.
So that transition Did the pronouns change or no?
No,
I'm just kidding.
no.
No, with
My pronouns are hungry.
we have. I want to ask you. Do you prefer playing the villain or the hero more? Which is more fun?
Man. So for adults, I like playing the villain.
Yeah.
For kids, I like being the babyface more.
Yeah.
Because, there's something about, and when a kid comes up to you and, they're excited and they know you're a bad guy, but they still want an autograph. Yeah. I'm not signing your autograph. I'm a bad guy. I'm gonna, I'll tell you a funny story.
Just like mush his face.
Yeah, at a Northeast show, I was wrestling. Me and Moff were tagging against Wrecking Ball and another guy, RJ Rude, up in Bethany, Connecticut. And a girl was so excited. The Wrecking Ball's big baby face there. We're the big bad heels. We are, everybody hates us. And our manager, Vito, is the best, one of the best managers in wrestling. And so I see this little girl. She's so excited to high five Wrecking Ball. And I'm just staring a dagger through her.
You have a stare, dude.
I know. I love it.
You have it.
100%. And so she's looking, and then she makes eye contact with me. And I'm like,
don't touch him.
I'm like, if you high five him, I'm throwing your mom out of her chair. And then so she giggles a little bit and then looks away and then looks back and I'm still. So now she goes to high five him and I hop off the ring and she just curls up in a little ball.
But that's awesome.
Is crying and is hysterical crying. Won't even come, the bell's rung, the match started, and she's still bawling in her mom's arms. And so, the entertainer in me is like, all right, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But, the gentle giant soul in me is like, oh, man, somebody go give her something signed, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for the kids, I like being a good guy for them. Especially, I coach football, so my kids, my players always at the end of the year they always come out to a show.
Okay.
And
what age group?
7th and 8th. Well, this year was 5th and 6th grade, but usually it's 7th and 8th grade.
That's a fun age bracket.
It's great.
That's
good.
a fun age
the kids'
bracket.
personality is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's a lot of work, but I love it. And they come out and they're just loud all over the place. They love all season. All they talk about is, Coach, we're still going to your show at the end of the year, right? I'm like, yeah, guys. But focus on this week, please. All right. Hey, Coach, remember that time? Yes, but can you remember to play, please? So yeah, no, it's as long as the people care one way or the other, that's all that matters. You're doing your job.
Give it your all.
If you come out to silence, you better figure something out. You know what I mean?
And do it quick.
Exactly.
I understand. So I was a camp counselor. All right. With a bunch of rowdy kids. I worked in the haunted houses and so there's nothing like you did.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more fun than having a blast with a group of kids.
Oh, 100%.
And seeing the kids light up.
Yeah.
Even I worked in a haunted house for a couple of years. It was one of the most fun jobs I ever had. It's so much fun to scare the crap out of a group of kids.
100%.
And just bust their chops.
Yep.
And for some reason, and I get that. And your whole personality is there. I don't know, dude. You have it so. It's such a blast to watch. Yeah. It's impressive.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. The last show the kids came to, at the end of the match, I main event and I pro wrestle Magic and I win the heavyweight championship and then I get jumped from behind. By Smiley and his people, whatever, and then whatever somebody cashed in, they beat me, whatever. And I could hear, I'm laying down, and I've just wrestled for almost a half hour. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there, and I'm hearing it all go on, and I hear my kids out of the corner of my, they're talking about coming into the ring to help me.
It's real to them.
And so they're like, oh, hey, we should go help Coach. And I'm laying there, and I'm like, man, I really hope they don't.
Yeah.
Because to foreshadow what would have happened is they would have jumped into the ring. Security would have put their hands on them and grabbed them, and then I would have sat up like the Undertaker, and I would have had to put my hands on security for touching my kids. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, those kids, those 30-some-odd kids, they're my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They play baseball in the off season. I go to their baseball games.
Yeah.
I go to their wrestling matches. Because I care. You know what I mean? I care about these kids. If I didn't, I wouldn't invest so much time. So it was just funny. And they're like, Coach, we thought about jumping in. And so like joking, I'm like, well, why didn't you? I could have used the help, you know. But real life, I was like, thank you guys for not jumping
Yeah.
in because it would have went sideways really quickly.
Do people get involved? Do people get involved like that?
Sometimes,
Because
yeah.
I know
Really?
that you guys. He
Oh,
showed me
yeah.
videos of like you guys kind of, and I'm sure it's a part of the entertainment, but you get involved sometimes with the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Do people get involved back?
Sometimes.
How does that go?
So it all depends. It's kind of like an unwritten rule. Like, if somebody jumps into the ring with me, I don't know you. I don't know your intentions.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use whatever real life force necessary to drop you.
Okay.
Which is, you're probably not going to have a good day.
The
And
audience will, though.
and the audience will have a great show, you know, even though it'll only be about 3 to 4 seconds. But it's kind of one of those, don't cross the barrier.
Yeah.
You know, some shows don't have barriers. Every now and then a person will jump in. We try to have real security there. The referees usually nip it before it happens, or at least can, you know, I'm not paying attention.
Right.
You know, the only interaction I had, I was at a carnival show, and it was great turnout. You know, it was awesome in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut, and a fan came and tried to kick me in the face while I was outside the ring. And so I had a bunch of little kids like just beating me up and whatever. They're little kids. I don't care. You know, although they were sending them. You know, it was real to them. And then I didn't see it. My partner did, Moff. He was on the outside, and the fan came and tried to like punt kick me in the face while I was on all fours. And so like the ref grabbed him and was like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't do that." And then actually that same fan, while I was wrestling in the ring, grabbed Moff like by the shoulders. And when you air this, just put a clip of who Moff is.
I will,
to give you watching like who you should put your hands on.
Don't do that. Oh, and then of one Danny Moff. Oh my God.
And it's this guy.
And I'm watching and I'm wrestling Wrecking Ball, and I'm punching Wrecking Ball in the head, and I'm just staring like, oh my God, Moff is going to jail for murder.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's for the most part, it doesn't really happen. When it does, it kind of, somebody should deal with it quick, because then it'll just escalate.
Well, you got a staff surrounding you to like take care of that stuff.
Some companies don't. Unfortunately, some
crazy
some
to
places
me.
you go, there's
Especially
only
when
the people
booze
on the
is
show.
involved.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
You need some kind of safety net.
Or people, or like a misunderstanding. There was a misunderstanding where a great villain went and like kicked his foot at a fan, and she just happened to put her hand out, and so he kicked her hand, and the dad was white hot trying to fight him for kicking his daughter. But like, you know what I mean? So he thought, oh, this guy, he's part of the show. Like, he has no idea who this guy is. He's like, oh, okay, this guy's like pretending he's mad. No,
right.
The guy was really trying to jump in the ring. Wow. And a couple of wrestlers who had already been done and changed, like, grabbed us, like, dude, like, you got to stop. And then so after the show, like, we got them all together to have like a conversation about it. But yeah, he really tried to jump into the ring because of that. Wow. And I understand, you know, if somebody kicked my daughter, I'd be a little upset about it too. But you also got to, you know,
you're in the middle of, you know,
exactly.
You're in the middle of action.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, you know, if I go to a football game and a football hits my kid in the head,
right?
You know what I mean?
You can do
am I going to beat up Daniel Jones for being a terrible quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a Giants fan, by the way. Just get that out of the way, so I can say that. I don't have a quarterback in Denver.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do this. We've been talking for quite a bit. We're going to take a quick break. All right, folks, stick with us. We're talking with Kerr, wrestler to the People's Champ. Has that been taken? That's not been taken, right?
There might be a guy. I don't know. I don't know
go
what
with it for now.
Yeah. I'm the People's Champ.
All right, folks, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating for top-rated service in Bergen County, New Jersey. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand.
All right, folks. Welcome back to Plum Bums Podcast. Honestly, the best podcast that's out right now.
The best.
The best.
Number one.
Number one.
In all of Kazakhstan.
Number one trending. Nice reference. No, folks, welcome back to Plum Bums. We really appreciate you. Let's start that again.
No, I can help you out.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'll be here long enough. I'll co-host this.
Okay,
You
fine.
know, you want
All
to
right.
switch seats?
All right.
You know, we can switch shirts. I might not be able to button it. Though. I might not be able to button it, and this might be a nightgown for you.
I'm just
That's
going to
gonna be
be tucked in.
We're cutting the sleeves off. We're taking the buttons out.
Listen,
It's a
I'm
new
going to
look.
steal that look. Honestly, I want to be you for Halloween this year. I want to steal that look with the red and black plaid, the cut off sleeves, and the hat and the combat
Gotcha.
pants.
We
I don't know
want
if
to
I can pull it
embroider
off.
your shirts. No, we want to embroider your shirt. We want to put Quartz Plumbing right on your shirt. And
There you go,
now
yeah.
you're going to represent
I think we're going to go with
Quartz
that for uniforms.
Hey, I'm good
Just
with
walk
that,
in,
you know?
walk up to the door with Frankie. Folks, we are here with Kerr, wrestler extraordinaire. This dude's got a great story. We've been having a blast.
Yeah,
Thanks
it was
again
great.
for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me again. You know,
First half, we went through a whole bunch of stuff, how you got into it, which is just fascinating to me. But like, I kind of want to know some crazy stories, some worst injuries, stuff like that. Like, let's help narrow this conversation down a bit. What is the craziest fan interaction you've had? And you can pull the mic down a little bit.
the craziest fan interaction. I don't know. I feel like fans, they don't get crazy with me really. Oh, actually, when I was starting out, I did have a fan. I had a female fan complain to the promoter that I wouldn't sleep with her.
You wouldn't?
Yeah.
I would complain about
And
that.
like I was, and the promoter was like, "What do you want me to do?"
That was me.
Yeah, no. Oh,
And he
okay.
said
They didn't. They just said person. I assumed it was a woman. But I get it. I mean, look at me. I mean, come on. Can you blame me? But yeah, I was like,
She complained?
yeah.
What was her complaint?
That I won't sleep with her.
No.
It was literally just that. It was like,
So she's going to like make him sleep with me?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and I was like, and they were like, "Whoa,
How do
what
I
you-"
get that life?
What's my bonus like?
I don't know.
I don't know. What's the bonus like?
I don't know. But
Do you have a picture of her? Can I see
That
her? I
was
don't know.
no. It was yeah. That was probably the weird. He came to me. He's like, hey, he's like, Adam, I got to talk to you about something. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, so I got this weird email.
She emailed and everything, dude.
And I'm like, all right, like, what did I do? And he was like, it's not what you did, it's what you didn't do. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this. I was like,
I would be talking about that
I don't
forever.
know. And it was literally, this is probably like my first 6 months in the business. And I'm like, this wrestling thing is weird, man. And then, well, luckily that's the only complaint,
Wow. I
But-
would ride that wave till the day I die. I'll tell you a quick story. I used to work at this pool place in along Mawa Ave. It's very yuppie up there, okay? And they have a nice sign, and once the spring comes, the guys go down, they got to blow the leaves and clean up the sign and do that stuff. So I was down there working, it was just me. And this girl was jogging by, and I struck up a conversation with her, and she stops for a second, we're talking or whatever. And then she's like, all right, I'll see you later. So, and this is when I'm working for pools outside. It's hard manual labor. You're tan. I was like in the best shape of my life. So an hour or two later, I was up in the yard doing some work, and the boss calls me down. He's like, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, okay. So I go to his office, and he goes, some girl just called. She said she talked to you down by the sign, and she's asking for your information. He was like super jealous. He's like, she just wants your information. I mean, how do you do it? I'm like, I mean, look at me. I pulled the same thing that you did.
Yeah.
I tell that story all the time. That I was just
great,
tending
yeah.
to a sign, and some random girl
Yep.
walked by and like tried to get my number from my boss.
It happens, they're studs and they're they're
studs.
non-studs.
It happens for fucking tall dudes.
hey,
dudes.
hey, you know what I
It doesn't
mean?
happen
Like-
for shorties.
Yeah, I mean, hey, 2024 I heard was the year of the short kings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
I did see
out
those
of the
memes.
game, so I don't know. You know,
I have that song constantly playing. Short King Anthem.
Is there a Short King anthem?
Yeah. I'll show it to you after.
All right. Maybe we'll play that intermission.
Yeah.
Short King anthem. That's crazy. I mean, I would memorialize, print out that email, and put it on the wall. What's how about some like? Because we've talked about, like I said, we talked about in the first half the physicality of this, and you were saying, you were spouting off when you were training a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even think about, like in front of the camera, how to look, how to focus, how to do this. But the physicality of this whole thing, injuries galore, I'm sure, from stupid little minor to major. Like, what's the worst injury you've gotten?
I'm going to start with the weirdest injury first.
Okay.
I was in a match a couple of months ago, and I dislocated my middle finger, my ring finger on my left hand, because we were in a rumble, and the person next to me hit somebody with a drop kick. And just the way they turned their body, their foot just happened to hit my finger. I was just walking by. I had nothing to do with that
Really?
interaction. And I'm like, ooh. And then I look, and it's just, I'm like, oh man. And so like I quietly like pop it back into place, and it's swollen. It's looking like a sausage, like one of Wrecking Ball's fingers.
More so.
And I was like, and then so I watch it back, and you just see the tip of his boot just hit me right in the knuckle, and I was like, what? Like that's a 1 in a million.
Yeah.
I went and I played the lottery after that. You know, too bad I hit the lottery in the ring. Not so much after.
Right,
so,
right.
But yeah, that was a weird one.
Wow.
But like I was saying before, my style is kind of it's a safe style. You know, I pride myself in being safe. I have had a couple things
For you and
know.
your opponent.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Because I could tell you a great story in the ring, but if the other guy has a broken neck or a broken leg after, it means nothing. You
And
know
then they
what I
don't
mean?
want to work with you.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So I tell everybody, like, hey, like, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna be safe. Like,
Yeah.
safe is paramount. And that's something mentorship, crowbars. Like, hey, dude, be safe. I did a moonsault off the ring to the floor once,
What's that?
and a backflip.
Oh.
I backflipped
You-
off the ring to the floor.
What?
Yeah, there's a clip of that. Maybe we could pull it up. And
It's got like 400-pound Tanya
Pull that
Harding
clip,
over here.
Jamie. Pull that clip. Jamie.
so I did that, and crowbar was there for it, and he hugged me. He's like, dude, looked awesome. Never do it again.
Really?
Yep. And he said, you did it. People could see that you can do it.
Right.
You never have to do it again. He
There you
goes,
go.
it's too much risk. If God forbid you land wrong, or even not me, if the person that I'm landing on isn't in the right way, I could hurt them, coming down with that much force. So, calculated risks.
Yeah.
But I've had things I've had 18 staples in my head from getting busted open.
Is that the picture on Instagram with the
so there's two.
Okay.
There's one, if I'm wearing the orange shirt, that was actually me and Moff beating the hell out of each other. And that was just
You literally look like Mankind in a cage match.
It was great. It was great. Other people may not have liked it too much, Hey. But yeah, she was not very happy with that.
Our live studio audience.
Yeah, and
We're moving on up.
Yeah.
We have now a live studio audience.
but yeah. So we went to war on New Year's Eve last year, and I got busted open. That was just a surface one, but I had another one a couple years back where it split me. I got hit in the head with a garbage can lid, and I felt the pop, and I was out on my feet for the majority of the match.
Wow.
And even watching it back, I just watched it back with Ashley and her mom, and I didn't remember most of the match.
Really?
I was loopy. I went after. I had to go get staples in my head. That was the 18 staples.
It's a lot of staples.
Yeah. It was a big gash. I tried to super glue it shut. That didn't work. I tried a little piece of like saran wrap and some Gorilla Tape, and that didn't work. I'm not like, oh my God, I have to go to the hospital right now.
Well, I can tell
what
that.
I mean?
I can tell that's not your jam.
Yeah. So I was like, as anybody who's been busted open and concussed for the last couple hours did, after the show, I immediately went to the diner. And so I'm sitting at the diner, and I order my food, and the server comes over. He goes, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to. Oh my God, your head's bleeding." And I'm like, "Oh man, I thought it stopped." So I was like, "All right." So I ate my food and then I went to the hospital to get stapled up.
Respect.
But yeah, but outside of that, just the one elbow thing, which was just a freak accident. I got dumped over the top rope and I just kind of hyperextended my elbow, and I tore a tendon in here, and I was able to go on for almost 3 years with that uncorrected.
Wow.
I did get a couple of cortisone shots in it, and but then it got to a point where I'd be at the gym and I would need a spotter to take 135 off the bench. And then it got to a point where even shaking your hand, it was a dead fish. Like I had no grip in my right hand anymore. So that was when I was like, okay. And I was one of the longest reigning champions of Pro Wrestling Magic at the time, and I had to sit with them and say, hey, I have to take some time off. So we need to figure out like what the game plan is here in the next couple of months. And then myself and Meadowlands Monster, now Lou Bruno, we had a banger on the match. Still one of the highest draws Pro Wrestling Magic's ever had. The only person to outdraw us is a guy, I don't know if you guys heard of him, Cody Rhodes. He outdrew us twice, but we outdrew him twice too. So he was there 4 times. But little fun fact. And and that match was a great match. We told a great story. Probably one of the most fun matches I've had. If I don't know if you've seen any clips of him, but he's legitimate 7-foot tall Cuban dude. Legitimate good dude. It was a nice passing of the torch from one monster to the other, and then I dusted off for about 10 months.
So
Did you?
Going back to the story aspect of it, because you said you told a great story. Now, obviously, it's a story. What you're doing, you're telling a story. There's a story that you're telling. Do you have any say in the story, or somebody that's writing it is like, here's the script, this is what you're doing, this is the winner, this is how you're gonna do it, or do you get to say no, we want to do it like
a
this?
little back and forth. So usually they'll sit us down and they'll say, hey, this is what we're going for. Okay. Do you have any particular way you want to get there? No, you guys can figure it out. Or it could be like, hey, we want it to be just like this, here, here, and here, and then you guys can fill in the rest. Every promotion's different. Every promoter's different. Some people just want to see matches.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, you guys have a good match, So they'll be like, all right, so we'll just go out there and be like, hey, what do you want to do? And then you kind of work it from the back to the front.
So you can be like out there and you're kind of ad-libbing it, where it's like, all right, we're going to do this.
Yeah. So,
and you don't even know how the match is going to end. You're just going to be like, we're going out.
So actually, that's a great question. So yes and no. And that all depends on who you're working with. Because some people are comfortable going out there and just what we call calling it on the fly. And that's one, my coach, Damian Adams, is very big on that. Like every training session is just, hey, you guys go in there, 8 minutes, call it in there. So you have to figure it out. You got to communicate. And that's good. And I was never comfortable with that. The thought of that terrified me.
Yeah.
Until I started training with Damian, and a lot of that is because, well, how do I know what I'm going to want to do when I get there? You know what I mean? Because I've been used to planning.
Well, it affects rankings too,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. So now, going out there. So now when you get in there with somebody comfortable, I'll tell you a funny story. Pull the curtain back. The first time myself and Danny Moff worked, I get a call the night before. Hey, big man, you ready for tomorrow? I said, yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. He goes, I got some cool ideas. I said, okay. I said, what do you got? Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow.
Does he always talk like that?
Yeah. Oh, always.
Always
Right?
in
Am I right? Am I lying? And so we go. So we get there. I'm like, so we get to the show the next day. And I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? And he goes, let's walk and talk out there. I'm like, that was your idea? Which, don't get me wrong, it was an incredible match. It was so much fun. But, when you get in there with somebody that's comfortable doing it, and you don't have to, connect the dots, it's a lot of fun because with the creativity aspect, if I come out there and I have a million and one things planned and I get the thing 3 or 4, and the people don't care, why am I going to keep going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to base what I want to do off their reactions. You know, if I'm a bad guy and I'm doing a bunch of cool looking shit, I need to stop that, because you're not supposed to enjoy what I'm doing. You're supposed to hate it. You know what I mean? So it depends on where you're at, who you're working with.
It's like a dancer taking the lead almost, right?
100%. 100%. And it takes trust too, especially when you're calling it, you know. I feel like I have a good enough reputation that everybody who works for me knows I'm safe. They know they're going to be taken care of. They know I'm never going to put them in a predicament that's unsafe. Even if I do something and there's a little room for error and I feel that room starts slipping towards the negative, I'll put the kibosh on it real quick, because it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
What's crazy is nothing looks safe that you're doing. Like the way you play that, like you tossing people across the ring.
Well, that's the art, baby.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly. That's why it's so impressive to me.
That's
it is
what
the art.
That's, you know, well trained, well mentored, you know. I like to say that I do what I do better than anybody. I'm not the best wrestler in the world. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. What I do in my lane, nobody can do better than me.
Good.
And that's it. And that's I'm not going to show up to a job site and trying to do what you guys do. You know what I mean? You guys need that cast iron tub brought down from the 4th floor. I got you. Right. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause that's what I do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
I believe it.
Yeah. So, you know, you're not going to, I stay in my lane. I do. I don't try to broaden it. You know, I put more tools in my toolbox,
right,
but it's still of what I'm doing,
you're
what I'm
perfecting
capable
your
of.
lane.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I think, like I've said this before, not to cut you off.
No.
I've said this before. The branding is just so on point, and I love your logo too. The writing with the American flag through it and stuff. And I know I'm getting into the aspect of what you're really not talking about as far as being in your lane, but you really do what you do the best that I've seen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Super impressive.
I appreciate that. And I'm doing my job.
Yeah, 100%. How long is the training on average? Does it vary?
What do you mean? Like
when you go to train, pre-wrestling,
or like so
when you're first getting into
it? It really just depends, honestly. Some people take to it like a fish in water, and other people take to it like fish in a desert.
Yeah,
you know, and they're just looking for that little, like a mirage.
Yeah,
or whatever, you know. For me, it's. I think I started training in April. My first debut, I debuted as a manager. I debuted as a manager in July, and then my first match was October. So I think I only had about 6 or 7 months of training before I went in. And it's so funny because I've watched that match back before, and my first match was against a guy named Fat Nasty Bastard, Anthony Ramirez, and he took care of me. I was the baby face, and he led the whole thing and took care of me. And but I look at, I'm like, man, I was so terrible. I'm like, that was bad. But everyone's like, hey, like that was a really good first match. I was like, yeah, but I want it to be a good match, you know. And then I look now, like, you know, with the extra years of experience and added training, and I'm like, oh, you know, I would have did this better. I'm like, oh, that looked terrible. Why did I even try that? You know what I mean? But yeah, so now looking back, I could see those corrections and make those tweaks.
Right.
Even you know, I watch matches back now that I have, and I'm like, oh, I should have did this differently.
That's with anyone in any career,
exactly,
any profession.
Exactly.
I mean, I look back when I first started, you know, because when I took over, there was a big transition where I took over from my uncle, and he had to go pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So I came from the pool business to plumbing.
Yeah. Both water,
and
right?
there's, well, yeah,
right.
I'll give you that. Okay, fine. All right, but I look back. There's some times where, like, I'll still wake up in the middle of the night and be like, "Is that sewer line still?" I wonder what's going on with that customer. Like 8 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still till this day, and it will haunt me. And I'll look back. I'll be like, "God, I was such an idiot." Or you go far enough back in our YouTube channel where I made my first video in quartz plumbing 8 years ago, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!" But it's
you learn.
It's an
it's
evolution.
all experiences.
Yeah,
It's a total evolution,
exactly.
And you're honing your craft.
Yeah,
and it is a craft.
Yeah,
like 100%. When I hear people talk or like rag on wrestling, I used to love wrestling as a kid. My grandfather got me into it. when we were really, really young. My grandfather loved and when Hulk Hogan was out and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's when I was really into it. And then by the time I graduated high school, I fizzled off. But when I graduated high school, The Rock was coming up. Mankind was at his peak.
Yep.
It was like production. And since we've been talking about getting on the show, I've just been like on like all my suggested reels are like wrestling videos and stuff. It's just it is a craft that you have to hone and fine tune to give this character and to perform for these people in like a serious physical way. It's super impressive.
Thank you.
And on top of that, you're your size. And I'm blown away.
It's tough.
To piggyback off of that, I did want to ask you one other question. Is that this is underground wrestling? We've had other underground artists on this show, and I'm wondering because a lot of the underground people, they're comfortable where they're at because it gives them the freedom of expression, and nobody's kind of telling them what to do. I mean, obviously you have story writers and people like that, but for somebody like you, are you looking to get to the next level, or are you comfortable where you're at because you can be you completely without kind of selling yourself out, so to speak?
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
You can drop that mic a little bit.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So I feel like if, on one hand, if you're not growing, you're dying. But when I started this, I didn't start off with aspirations of the WWE, or, well, obviously not AEW because they weren't a thing. I started this to have fun. I started this to, I also do a lot of fundraiser wrestling too. I have another show coming up at the end of the month in Rutherford at the Williams Center. And all that's going to, the Rutherford Fire Department, veteran organization, stuff like that. This is fun for me. This is, I don't want to say a hobby because that insults people but I enjoy doing this. So if I get blessed one day with a contract from somebody, and hey, 100% I would take it. If it doesn't come, I wouldn't look back on my time in wrestling as a failure. I've met a lot of great people along the way. I've had an awesome time doing it. I have memories that will last me a lifetime. The bigger the crowd, it is. The small crowds are fun because they're intimate and you can get everybody involved in it, but the bigger crowd is just something, when you come out and there's, 1,000, 1,500 people and you're just like, wow, like there's a lot of people here.
How's the anxiety for that?
It's actually not as bad. So with that, I've learned to just kind of like take a breath and enjoy it. Because the first time it happened, I was nervous as all hell. I come out, I was doing a show, actually another fundraiser show in Rutherford, and I come out and we had 1,200 people. Wait, no, building code was 848, so we had 848 people there at Felician University. And
nicely done.
And thank you. And the fire department was running it, so they're not going to shut us down, right?
Yeah.
So I come out and I have this huge grand entrance. It's 8 minutes long, coming out to Toby Keith, and I have firemen and veterans with flags waving me on like I'm John Cena at WrestleMania, and I'm so nervous. I don't have a single smile on my face. I'm just
wow.
And you look back and I'm just oh man. And then that was I was still like 2 or 3 years in at that point. But now when I do it, I always just take a minute, just kind of look around and just try to make like a mental memory. And, all memories are mental, I guess. Dude, that's psychology, dude. And just try to enjoy it. And, you know what I mean? Like, because even though there are other places that I would like to be, so to answer your question, yes, I would love to be those places. But I won't look back as a failure. But also I understand that there's people that aren't where I'm at that would give a leg to be where I'm at the same time, so I never take that for granted, and I know that any match can be my last match, unfortunately, so I just don't take it for granted. I just try to enjoy everything and soak it all in and just ride the roller coaster as long as I can sit on it. You know what I mean?
I can't relate to you too much with this, but I mean, the stupid little podcast we just decided, it'd be nice to like break out, but if not, we got to talk to a lot of people, had a lot of good experiences. I'm trying to relate to you in a way.
Yeah, no, hey, it's all the same thing. At the end of the day, it's all a brand. The podcast is a brand. Kerr is a brand,
Yep.
I couldn't help but notice your sponsor does some advertising. So, you sponsor the right podcast here because I'm probably going to be hitting you up for some stuff. and somebody who has their brand dialed in.
Promobros.net, guys. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, hey, it's all a brand. It's all just growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gain one new viewer a day. One new whatever.
How long's that beard been growing?
I have not seen this face since March 27th, 2013.
Wow.
Was the last time
Oh, really?
I shaved. Yeah.
I can't go that
Was the
long.
last time. I have trimmed the beard a few times, admittedly.
Right, you
The
have
longest
to.
the beard got was to here.
Wow.
That was about the first year. But I wasn't brushing it. I wasn't taking care of it really. I was just there, and then I cut it, and then
It's a huge part of the image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's it's a little gray right now, but we're gonna get that taken care of. We're gonna turn back the clock, and
Just for men?
yeah, whoa, hey, they don't get free advertising here. All right, Just for Men wants to sponsor you guys. We'll let them.
Yeah.
I'll use them, but
They're banging down our door.
yeah, no, absolutely. So it's definitely a big part of the look.
Yeah.
If there was, because I am a fan and I am in the business, and it makes sense. If there comes a time when I'm over the beard, it's gonna happen in wrestling. It's gonna be part of a story. It's
Part
of the
gonna
character
make
line,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Don't worry. You're never gonna show up to a show one day and be like, hey. What happened to his beard?
Yeah.
No. You'll know why it's gone. You'll know.
It's going to be a completely new character.
Yeah, no, exactly. Maybe this is the source of my strength and my skills. Then I
Samson.
lose it and I'm terrible.
So I want to ask you, like, for anyone coming up, because kids just go nuts over wrestling. Someone comes up and they start to realize they have a little bit of a talent. They really like it. Where should they start? What should they start doing?
Do your research and find a good, reputable school.
Yeah.
And then when you look at that school and you look at those trainers, see who those trainers have trained and where those wrestlers have gone.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go to, Johnny Hole in the Wall and he's trained 2,000 wrestlers, but those wrestlers have
Where
never
are
they?
they?
Anything in
Yeah.
wrestling, what are they training? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I could teach you how to play basketball. You're not going to be very good because I don't. You know what I mean? Do your research. Take the time because you're going to pay. Wrestling school is expensive.
Yeah.
So you should research where you're spending your money, who you're spending your money on, and if your goals align with theirs. There are some coaches that, hey, I don't train flippy guys.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Hey, cool. That's not your thing. You know what I mean? And then there's also, with any relationship, chemistry.
Yeah.
There's some people who, hey, I love the way this guy coaches me. Well, I hate this coach. I think he's an a-hole. It's all, again, you're spending money. You should look forward to going to the training. You should look forward to getting better. And, you're investing your time, your effort, and your body. So it should be somewhere you want to be and somewhere with someone who aligns with you at least to a bit. You're never going to be 100% across the board, but at least, you could say, hey, we're on the same page here. This is where we want to be. This is the direction we want to go, and those schools are out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately there are bad schools too, but that's with anything. They're bad plumbers. You know what I mean?
100%. So find a good school, and what kind of type of I was going to say find a good school and hunker down, get ready to put in some work.
100%.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of people aren't going to like this answer. Have a backup plan. Because if you how many people main event WrestleMania?
Exactly. Yeah.
2, maybe 4. Well, this year 6, and 2 of them were the same person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrestling all over, not even just the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
And there's only X amount of people that are actually making a living off of it.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do something else. You need to be able to, I slipped a disc in my neck and I can never take a bump again. What am I going to do?
Yep.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in wrestling and even, on TV. I met a guy when I was coming up and we were talking about it. And I'm not going to name him, he pulled me aside. He's like, he's like, you have a lot of intangibles. He's like, but the thing that stands out to me is like how focused you are in school. He's like continue that. He's like, if I break my neck tomorrow, I'm done. The only thing I can do for the rest of my life is sign autographs.
Yeah.
He's like, I have no backup plan. He's like, but he's like, all my eggs are in this basket. And a lot of people don't like that because like, oh, well, you're not fully committed.
No, you need to be smart about it.
It's not the 70s or 80s anymore.
Exactly.
All right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, going back to Crowbar, using him as an ant. He owns his own physical therapy practice. A lot of the same guys that, were busting his chops when he was 18, 19 for going to school are the same guys that are coming to him now because everything hurts. Yeah. And they can't.
Well, it's like you said, the show's got to go on,
Exactly.
even with or without you.
100%.
So,
hey, they'll be sad for a couple of minutes. But guess what?
Right.
Next episode next year, hey, I'm just part of a highlight reel.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. But definitely have a backup plan. It's 2024. You don't have to be a starving artist to make it anymore. You know what I mean? You got to make sacrifices, obviously. You know what I mean? I've missed family parties. Obviously, everybody has.
Yeah.
Anybody who works does all that. So it's not. I don't think of it as a feather in my cap for missing events. And it just comes with territory. Hey, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Would I rather be here on this show or when I debuted in Northeast Wrestling? I was showing up in Northeast Wrestling for probably about 6 months before I finally got on the show. And it was just there helping out, old school, setting up the ring, setting up chairs, and I'm marketable.
Yeah.
Look at me. I have a look. I have something that you can't just go out on the street and find.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I was willing to do that. And then, so when Mike Lombardi, the owner and promoter, he was like, hey, May 7th, you're on the show. He's like, we're going to debut you. I said, awesome. I was excited. And I go and look at my calendar, and it's one of my old Army friends' wedding day in Indiana. And I was like, man. I was like, we had a nice 5-day weekend planned out there. And I was like, so I hit him up and I said, hey, man, look, I love you and I wish I could be there, but I really got
it's a choice.
Yeah, I was like, I got to do this. And he understood 100%. He's like, no, dude, I get it. Like that's your goal, that's your dream. Like you do that. You could always come over here and visit us whenever. I was like, all right. I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you. And look, it breaks my heart to miss things sometimes, but hey, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, do I want it or do I not? You know.
It's sacrifice. Sacrifice left and right.
Exactly.
I mean, we do this show to get guys interested in running a small business or get into the trades. But listen, you can go to college, you can get a degree, you can work for a company, make a nice salary, not have to worry about it after that.
I've missed so many family parties working here. It's ridiculous. It's
you're happy
boss,
about that.
Man, your boss. No emotions from your boss.
Got me working like a dog out there.
Wow.
I don't give an F.
Wow.
Or
you need to unionize.
Yeah. With me and the dogs.
All right, shut it down. No, it's sacrifice, and you can go, you can get a nice career and do this, or you can put in the work to start a small business, a plumbing company, a blue collar trade. You'll never sleep. You'll never see your family. You'll always be exhausted and always stressed, but to me, it's worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
You're putting in the hard work to build this, this whole image, this whole career. It's some people don't have it.
No, 100%. Last year we went on vacation to North Carolina, and I cut my vacation short by 2 days because I drove. I had a show in Connecticut for Northeast Wrestling, and so we drove back. I think it was something like 13, 14 hours.
Yeah,
I slept for 2 hours. And then me and Moff got in the car and we drove 4 hours.
Wow.
For another show. And that was just, I love it. I didn't complain at all. You know what I mean? Like I was a little tired on the way up, obviously. But it was, I love it. I had no regret. I wasn't like, oh man, I don't want to leave. No, I want to be on this show. You know what I mean? Actually, both my vacations the last 2 years got cut short, but for wrestling.
Oh, but again, I know it. Trust me. Trust me.
But again, I love it. Nothing I'd rather do.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah,
I can tell your heart's in it. Who are your? I'm going to ask you this, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. But who would you say your top 3 all-time wrestlers are?
Ooh, good question. Number 1, first and foremost, Deadman, The Undertaker.
Okay.
A big Undertaker guy.
You and my brother.
It's just always
My brother still. My brother's almost 40. He's still obsessed.
I learned how to roll my eyes in the back of my head as a kid because I was terrified of him. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I really thought he was dead. And then it broke my heart when I found out him and Kane weren't brothers. I was like, oh man.
He's a mayor in Kentucky now.
Yeah, Knox County, Tennessee.
Backup plan.
Tennessee. Yep. Hey, you never know. Jersey could need some new leadership. Use some new leadership.
Amen.
Let's see. It's I always, as far as storylines go, I feel like Triple H was always really good at stories.
Yeah, I forgot about him until just now.
And as a villain, he's just you hated him.
Yeah.
And then going back to modern day, unfortunately, the late Bray Wyatt was just
I don't know him.
He was incredible. He was Mike Rotunda.
Yeah.
His son.
Okay.
He just passed away last year. Actually, unfortunately, he was 34.
Oh wow.
And sad but creative. His character. I don't even know. They have a documentary about him that actually, unfortunately, I haven't watched yet. But it just tells a lot of his story. And when I just a creative wrestling mind, very few people, when you get to that level, have full autonomy of their character.
Yeah.
And he was one of the ones that did. And his character, he reinvented himself 4 times under kind of like the same brand. And every single one was just like, I wanted to hear. He could just stand in the ring with a microphone. And I'm like,
and just freestyle.
What's he gonna say? Yeah, wow. And then he said it, and just the way he spoke, he didn't spoke like, "Oh, meet me at the bingo hall, and I'm gonna kick your butt." He would it was like poetic, you know what I mean? And then you sit back and you rewatch it, and you realize that what he said ties into something he said a year and a half ago, and it was just all. It was
very, very intelligently done.
It was great. And it's a shame that he passed so young because, he really was. He was, there was an episode of Raw where Undertaker actually passed the torch to him. And kind of like as a new, evil supernatural guy. And, I don't want to say evil, but the next supernatural wrestler. And then, unfortunately, that was one of the last times he was on TV.
Wow.
And,
It's a whole culture to this thing, man. It's insane.
100%. And it's crazy, I don't know. You never stop being a fan.
No, you're right.
You just see it a little differently.
Yeah. Well, now you're on the inside looking out. Yeah. Tell people where they can find you, where they can watch you.
Where can you watch me? Well,
you got a great Instagram page.
Yeah. World of Kerr, world_O_Kerr. Instagram is probably my most active. Actually, I just saw you messaged me on Facebook last year, and I never responded to you, so I apologize.
It's all right. I message a lot of people on Facebook that don't respond.
I don't really check my wrestling Facebook too much. Honestly, I should be better on all my branding on social media across the board.
It's not easy.
No, it's
a pain in the ass. It takes up a lot of time.
Yeah. Twitter, World O'Pain, but again, not really active on Twitter.
Yeah.
I just retweet matches that I'm in. And
where can they find you your schedule?
Schedule Instagram. Definitely stick with Instagram.
We'll throw all those up at the bottom.
I post all my schedule, my shows, my upcoming shows, future dates, memes. If you like memes, you like laughing. I'm a funny guy. Gym stuff, veteran stuff, all that across the board. So,
all right, fair enough.
Thank you,
Kerr. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Super insightful.
Yeah, thank you. We got to do this again.
I'm sorry.
No. We just got to do it again.
Yeah, at any time.
Yeah,
I'm serious. Anytime.
When you make it to the WWE, don't forget about the little guys.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I get your podcast on there.
Oh my gosh! All right, now I'm getting excited. All right, man. Thanks for coming on again, folks. Check out Kerr. You can watch him tour all over North Jersey. Amazing matches, a lot of fun. Go check him out. We want to give another shout out to Promo Bros, promobros.net. Promotional merchandise for all your promotional merchandise needs.
Tell the Promo Bros I'm coming.
We will. We'll get you set up.
Let's go.
Kerr Bros and Promo Bros. Kerr and Promo Bros. But check them out, promobros.net. They do a whole bunch of really high-quality merchandise for you. Also, Quartz Plumbing and Heating. Quartz Plumbing is getting into renovations right now. We're killing it. Hit us up. You can book us online, or you can talk to our office, Nancy 201-262-2656. Folks, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate you coming back. Remember to share, like, subscribe. We really count on that, spreading the word, because trying to push all that is exhausting.
Spread the good word.
Yes, please. We'd love some more sponsors, but no, we don't want to get greedy. Anyway, guys, check us back here next week, and we'll see you then.